Hey, it's the Next Level Contractor Podcast. We're coming at you every Monday at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I'm talking about Mountain Dews, baby.
No bullshit, in 30 minutes or less. And we're helping small businesses and construction companies be more profitable with better leads and better systems.
Just get all fat and sassy.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown. And today we're talking about 5 marketing scams roofing contractors should avoid. So I'm talking with my friend Dimitri from Roofing Insights, and he's having me speak down in Kansas City about this topic. So this is me prepping a little bit, but also I want to share this with my podcast audience here. So we talk about marketing scams sometimes, and I know that feels like, oh, this guy's talking about potential competitors or things like that, but also part of it is if you're spending a lot of money on some of these bullshit aspects of marketing, you don't have the money to spend on real ones. And some of them are borderline, but let me talk through them. One is when there's scam calls, when people say, your Google My Business needs to be fixed. So I get these calls all the time, and we obviously are very good with Google My Business and Google Maps and stuff like that. These are scam calls, and it's kind of sad that these people prey on small business owners that don't necessarily know about Google My Business and all of this stuff. So there is an element of like kind of predatory behavior in these companies that say your Google My Business needs to be fixed. They're scammers. So the next one is Home Advisor, and Dimitri and I both talk about this one a lot, but Home Advisor is predatory, first of all, because they really have marketing down, right? They market themselves ad nauseum, and you see their commercials on, TV and stuff like that. And so contractors think, well, they have all these homeowners that need my services, so maybe I should pay Home Advisor for leads or things like that. The problem really comes down to Home Advisor sells these leads to multiple people, and they make really big claims because they have a very aggressive sales team that essentially they have on quota, and there's their employees, if you look on their Glassdoor, will share this information, but they have these high quotas, and it's a high pressure sales organization, so they'll say things that aren't necessarily legit. Third, Yelp, Houzz, Angies Lists are all high pressure kind of upsells. So I believe that you should be on these things. Like, I believe that you should be on Yelp. I believe that you should be on Houzz, and I believe that you should be on Angie's List, but it's those high pressure upsells that I'm telling you to avoid. It's not even those directories. Those directories aren't scams. It's those upsells. I've seen a contractor spend $25,000 on Angie's List. Actually, sorry, it was Houzz. On Houzz, and they got one video, and they got featured on Houzz somewhere where they never got one lead. They never got one lead from Houzz. So that's $25,000, not down the drain, but that's a pretty expensive one video. Like, it was like an interview. It wasn't even a very complicated video. So recognize that they have their best interests in mind, and some of them are a bit predatory, and it's related to the high pressure sales organization. So actually, Angie's List was purchased by the people that own Home Advisor. So they just kind of end up getting, because Angie's List was pretty legit for a long time, and they got the trust of contractors. But Dimitri from Roofing Insights talks about this a lot, which he says essentially they had standards for the contractors, and they had standards for the homeowners that they'd have leads for, those types of things. But the standards went down over time, so now it's just everybody is on there, and so you waste a lot of time on people that don't have budget, or basically Angie's List has gone a little bit downhill over the past 5 years. The next thing is fake SEO, or I've seen these super cheap SEO companies. Honestly, they'll be like $300 or $500, and they'll email you, and they'll say, come get our SEO. And it's like, sometimes broken English, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter if they're in the United States or if they're in India or wherever they are. If they don't understand how to get serious results from Google. And a couple of the ways that you get serious results, we've talked about this before on other podcasts, but it's links from other websites, it's content marketing that is around your ideal customer and helps them with their problems, and it's about that technical SEO. But a lot of these companies, they don't spend they have no budget within that. That's too cheap. It's kind of like with a website. If you only have $1,000 for a website, I suggest you learn website design. If you have $1,000 for a website, go on Squarespace and make your own website. And it's same goes with SEO. If you have $300 a month to spend on SEO, just try to learn SEO instead, because I'm sorry to be harsh, but you have more time than money at this point. You need to go learn it. Companies that have that cheap of services, they don't generally actually get a lot done. And you part of SEO for us, we have to pay different things. Like I have a tool that's it's $1,000 a month for this tool. It's to get links on websites. Like sometimes we're paying for writers to write. We're paying for outreach. There's different things. There's more. I spend a good chunk of money more than they cost. So the point is like, you can imagine if you're a roofer and you go into a homeowner's house and they told you that somebody was willing to do their roof for $3,000. Like, what are they just paying for the shingles? That's more than I would spend more on shingles than that, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's this idea that you would spend more on materials than they're getting that roof done for. You can't compete with that. And also you just really question the quality. The quality of those shingles and the quality of the labor, and is there going to be any customer service? That's kind of what I think of when I see these companies doing SEO for so ridiculously cheap. I spend more money than your thing costs within our clients' engagement. So that's something to think about. And then lastly, guaranteed leads companies. This is a sales gimmick. This is a marketing gimmick that people do. They say guaranteed leads. There's a lot of ways that they do this. Sometimes it's a call center. Sometimes, Dimitri told the story of it's a person posting your stuff on Craigslist that you have no control of. I think part of what it comes down to is the problem with you don't have control over their messaging now, and they could be negatively affecting your brand. They could be talking as if they're you and promising things that aren't true. And then you end up with a customer that's going to be dissatisfied. You end up with a lot of leads that don't actually turn into sales because they're just low quality stuff. And that's ultimately what I worry about with these guaranteed leads companies. We engage somebody like a lead. I've engaged people, man. We've tried all kinds of different things as a company. And what it ends up doing is it waters down your brand. It can negatively affect the way people think about you. What you want to do, you want to have some control over what's going out as you, as a company. You don't want it to be out there just willy-nilly. To me, those are 5 marketing scams to avoid. Some of the worst. I hate when people try to take advantage of small businesses. We believe it's just plain wrong. You should be able to focus on your business and you should be able to delegate some of this stuff, but don't delegate it stupidly. So the next video, join me next week. It's going to be 5 legit roofing marketing strategies that every roofer should be using. So I really appreciate you watching and or listening, and join us next week. It's Tim Brown, the Next Level Contractor Podcast. Podcast is put on by Hook Agency at Hook Agency all over social media, and talk to you later.